Hello friends, welcome to CTC. Today we will see what is comments into the Java. First of all, when we say a comment, what comes in our mind? That is nothing but a verbal or written remark expressing an opinion or a reaction. But why we need comment into the code? Maybe just to express or tell something like precious information about a method, class, variable, or maybe an interface. Why we need comment? Just to give information regarding a particular block of code or a method. So what's the use of this information? Whom we are intending to pass this information to? Probably maybe for a new developer or programmer, or maybe the first time user or developer that is going to make some changes into that code, or maybe a new developer or programmer that is going to refer your code. So a comment can be used to give information about the methods and the classes which are there into the code. Actually, naming conventions should be good enough to convey 80% meaning of the code, what actually it does. So you obviously you have to use naming conventions. So naming convention will let new user to know what exactly that code does or method does, and this will be covered by the comments. So first you need to understand that comments are not executable. Means compiler will not compile it, and the Java virtual machine will not run that. Since comments are not executable, so they can be used to enclose the code within the comment tags which you don't want to execute for temporary reason. Sometimes there are times we want to try some code, because we also know that what will be the output of particular code. So you can write that code, and if you don't want that code to run, or you may have alternative code for that, you can tag the previous one and experiment with the new code. So this way you can experiment different code and see their outputs without deleting the code, and you can just comment particular code and try another code. So it will save your time, so you won't have to delete a particular code and try a new one, and if you want the previous one you will have to rewrite or type it again, so it saves the time too. There are different needs of comments. Some may need one line, some may more than one line, or maybe a full block of code wants to comment. That's the reason why we have comments into the Java. Actually, there are two kinds of comments into Java. I'll show you. See, this is the Java language specification. I am using the 11th because it is supported for the long term. So here in the JLS you can see there are two kinds of the comments. The third one, that is a documentation comment, is a different one. I am going to upload another video in detail for that. So first let's focus on these two sort of the comments. So let's see first comment, that is a single line comment or an end of line comment. So I have already written the code, so it will save our time. So I wrote a class named students having these variables and methods. So first single line comment, for that you have to use double backslash ASCII character. All the text from these backslash ASCII characters to the end of line will be ignored. So when you write this, so now it is not ignored, so it is giving the compile time error. But when I type double backslash, this complete line will be ignored. It will not be compiled by the compiler and will not be executed by the Java virtual machine during the execution. So this way we use double backslash as a single line comment or an end of line comment. So why we use? You can use that for the giving the information about this variable. Like here you can see this is unique student ID. It gives the brief information regarding this variable. So you can also use that single line comment like this. You can write validation for the name here, just give information about the validations where you are supposed to write. And here you can see that I have written 2 line of code just to print information. It's just giving a simple example. You can have more than 1 line of the code that you don't want to execute. I don't want to execute this line of code, so I use this comment tag. So if I remove this, now we'll see what it prints. It will print both the information hello and hello world, and I don't want this code to execute or compile by the compiler. I'll comment this so compiler will not compile or ignore this one. So if I run this, you can see only hello world is printed. So this way you can comment a line of code using the single line or an end of line comment. So next one is a multiple line or multi-line comment, or also called as a traditional comment. You can see traditional comment. This is what the Java language official documentation calls to it. So here you can see that I wrote the information regarding the copyright using the multi-line comment. So if there are a block of code you want to comment, or you want to use another block of code alternative. So for example, if I don't want this method to execute or compile and want the other method to execute, we'll remove this. What you have to do is backslash asterisk and asterisk backslash. So this block of code will be commented, and you can use press Ctrl Shift F. It gets formatted, indented. So this will not be executed. This block will not be executed. Only this will be executed. So this way you can use the multi-line comment to comment multiple line of the code or block of the code using this multi-line or traditional comment. And one thing you have to remember is that you cannot write the comment into the character or literal string like this. Means it will not be considered as a comment. This is not a comment. Oops. Okay, I'll run this. We'll see what it prints. So yes, you can see this is considered as a text string, so it prints. Also you cannot write the comment tags into the character literal, so it's not going to work. It will give compile time error. Okay, you have to make sure that whilst using the multi-line comment or traditional comment, so you cannot nest the comments, but this is not a this text, or this will be considered as a text and will be ignored, and you have to make sure that there is not a gap here. You can see it will give compile time error. These both backslash and asterisk ASCII character has to be next to each other. There should not be gap between them. See, this gives error. And same goes for the single line comment. Both the ASCII character has to be close one. There should not be gap between these ASCII characters. Properties of the comments, we can see comments do not nest. Okay, as I told you that comments cannot be nested, and the code surrounded by the comment tags have no special meaning, as I have shown you, and will be omitted by the compiler whilst compiling the code. These comments are not executable. Lexical grammar implies that the comments do not occur within the character literals or string literals, as I told you and shown you in the example. So what is the advantages of comment? Maybe it makes it easier to understand what the code is all about and what it does. Generally, in my opinion, Naming convention should be good enough to convey what a method and a variable or a class is all about. And comments can be used to explain Java code. It will give a brief information and makes the code a little bit readable and understandable. It can also prevent the execution when testing alternative code. As I shown you here that I don't want this code to run and I want to try this one. So if you have two codes and you want to try an alternative code, then you can just comment this one and execute this one. So this way you don't have to delete a previous code and try new one, and if you don't want new one, so you have to delete the new one and rewrite the previous one. So this way you don't have to delete and will save your time. You can write more than one line of one block of code and comment the code which you don't want to execute. So these are the advantages of the comments. What's the disadvantages? If you really think there is need of comment, then write the comment. Otherwise it will be messy and clunky. So use only when you really feel that there is a need of a comment. Thank you for watching my video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share.